Breaking news out of the White House by Alex Pappas for FoxNews.com. H.R. McMaster, President Trump's national security advisor, said Saturday that the possibility of war with North Korea increases every day. The problem over its nuclear program isn't solved. I think it's increasing every day, McMaster told Fox News' Bret Baier at the Reagan National Security Forum in California. It means we're in a race. We're in a race to be able to solve this problem. Added McMaster, there are ways to address this problem short of armed conflict. But it is a race because he's getting closer and closer, and there's not much time left. Last week, North Korea fired its highest ever intercontinental ballistic missile, flying 1,000 miles higher than during its first ICBM launch in July. McMaster told Baier that North Korean dictator Kim Jong-un's nuclear ambitions are the gravest national security threat that America faces. The greatest immediate threat to the United States and to the world is the threat posed by the rogue regime in North Korea and his continued efforts to develop a long-range nuclear capability, he said. McMaster's added, so it's immediately important that we work together with all of our allies, partners, everyone internationally to convince Kim Jong-un that the continued pursuit of these capabilities is a dead end for him and his regime. Trump on North Korean missile launch, we will take care of it. A senior U.S. official told Fox News on Saturday that the North Korean ballistic missile fired last week did not survive the re-entry to the Earth's atmosphere, but broke up on re-entry. Still, the president's national security advisor said North Korea is improving every time it conducts a test, even when it fails. What is clear is every time he conducts a missile launch, a nuclear test, he gets better, McMaster said, and whether it's a success or failure isn't as important as understanding that over the years he's been learning from failures, improving, thereby increasing his threat to all of us. During the forum at the Ronald Reagan Presidential Library in California, McMaster denied that the recent guilty plea of his predecessor, former National Security Advisor Michael Flynn, on Friday has rattled allies. Speaking of Special Counsel Robert Mueller's investigation into Russia's meddling in the election, McMaster said, I've seen no evidence of the investigation in any way impeding the important work we are doing. Fox News' Jennifer Griffin contributed to this report. Let's take a little listen here to McMaster's.
As we look at the time horizon associated with threats, the greatest immediate threat to the United States and to the world is the threat posed by the rogue regime in North Korea and his continued efforts to develop a long-range nuclear capability. And so it's immensely important that we work together with all of our allies, partners, everyone internationally to convince Kim Jong-un that the continued pursuit of these capabilities is a dead end for him and his regime.
So let me get a little specific on North Korea. We're being told that the ICBM, the most recent launch, broke up on re-entry. Is North Korea having trouble on that re-entry step, and thereby right now the U.S. overall is not at threat from their ballistic missiles?
Well, it'll take some time to assess each of these missile launches, but what is clear is that every time he conducts a missile launch and nuclear test, he gets better. And whether it's a success or failure isn't as important as understanding that over the years, he's been learning from failures, improving, and thereby increasing his threat to all of us.
So has the potential of war with North Korea increased since this latest launch?
I think it's increasing every day. which means that we're in a race, really. We're in a race to be able to solve this problem, not just us, right, but the United States, all of our allies and partners. As we know, China has tremendous coercive economic power over North Korea. I mean, you can't shoot a missile without fuel, right? And so there are ways to address this problem short of armed conflict. But it is a race because he's getting closer and closer, and there's not much time left.
So is China serious about averting this conflict? I mean, are they slow walking this?
Well, you know, the initial indications were very positive. The president, as you know, very early in his presidency, met with President Xi in Mar-a-Lago. And there were some very significant results from that initial discussion about North Korea that I think represented dramatic changes potentially in China's, not only their attitude toward the problem, but also the actions that they could take. The first of these is that China agreed that this is a threat to everyone. This is a global threat. This is a threat to China. Remember, in the past, the old language would be, well, this is really a problem between the United States and North Korea. The second big change is that China was wholly committed, and President Xi affirmed this again during President Trump's recent visit to Beijing, is that China is committed to the complete denuclearization of North Korea. And remember, in the past, and still sometimes even today, you see a lapse back into the language of freeze for freeze or suspension for suspension. That's not the objective. Negotiations for negotiation's sake, not the objective. The objective is denuclearization. And that's a big shift as well. And the third big shift is China recognizes that it does have tremendous coercive economic power over North Korea. So we're asking China not to do us or anybody a favor. We're asking China to act in China's interest, as they should. And we believe increasingly that it's in China's urgent interests to do more beyond UN Security Council resolutions. As we know, we cannot rely on an international body because there are those within that body who obstruct that important work. For example, Russia just vetoed the Joint Investigative Mechanism for the use of chemical weapons in Syria to provide more cover for the Assad regime to potentially commit further mass murder. We know that getting the sanctions that would...
See, there I beg to differ. See, these are warmongers, actually. I don't trust McMaster's. Syria did not bomb their own people. People in Syria, they like Assad. This is all for the pipeline and whatever nefarious other reasons that they want control over there. I'm not agreeing with this. This is just a heads up to let you know what's going on, because I don't agree with McMaster. He's a warmonger. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. And again, thank you so much for watching.